I mean, there's no right, wrong, or different way. That the reality is you got to pay these people back.
What by taking my money? Like, I mean, you gonna pay me back by taking more of my money and then giving it to me? Come on, man. That don't make sense.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now?
All right, welcome back to another episode of Well Rockin' Crypto. It's your boy Captain Crypto with your man Moose, and as you know, we had a special guest coming in, my man Perry Unlikely. Perry's been a YouTuber, influencer in the space, not only in crypto, but also in real estate, trying to help everybody navigate a path through their financial freedom. So we want to welcome Perry aboard, man. Perry, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Anytime it's about crypto, you can count me in the mix for sure. So glad. Thank you guys for having me.
No doubt, man. Glad to have you here, man. Moon, how you feeling over there, baby?
Man, feeling good. Feeling great, man. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Moose, what you got cooking over there, man?
Yeah, we good. Captain, what's up, baby?
I can't call it, man. It's just another day, man. You guys feeling everybody feeling the relief pump, but some people may have the relief pump confused with another rally, right?
Pump fake.
It's a little pump fake, right? We've been in it enough to at least know about what's taking place in 2013, 2015, 2017. So timeline just isn't matching up to me. But at the same time, man, it's just something to keep a lookout for. If you get a little relief rally, take your profits, hold on to them. Let's maybe just have a strategy, make sure you have a strategy in the space. But we wanted to bring y'all some new topics today. And first one, man, we want to talk about these Chinese banks and what they got going on.
The recent mass protests will be worrying for leaders in a politically sensitive year. Olivia Xiong tells us why.
Holding banners which read "No deposits, no human rights" and against the corruption of the Henan government, bank customers of a number of small banks in China's Henan province staged a protest in front of the central bank's branch in Zhengzhou on Sunday, demanding their frozen deposits be returned. Things escalated as police surrounded the site, and men in plain clothes were filmed beating participants, some retaliating by throwing water bottles. One depositor who was present told us they were eventually taken away in buses, later being instructed to buy a plane or rail ticket home.
It seems like it is a rapid seizure. There's a bank run going, and they can't take out more than $100 USD equivalent. And not only that, but it's an alleged $4.5 billion that's stolen from the banks. They have tanks out there defending the banks and trying to at least protecting the citizens from rushing the banks. I mean, there's videos all throughout. We'll post the links in there, just as we'll post Perry's contact information for y'all to get in with them. But let's do a little round robin here, man. Let's talk about these banks and what's going on with this crisis. Can you go into a little detail for us, Moon?
Yeah, man. Allegedly, they keep on saying allegedly, but I don't know why they're saying that. I guess they don't know. They don't want to say the exact amount of billions they lost. Okay,
it's not
but
factual.
I mean, all right, it's pretty factual when you got tanks running at the citizens, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, look, they lost. This is supposed to be a secure deposit, a safe deposit, all right? And this situation here lets you know that this could happen in any country at any time. I know Moose might be like, yeah, it's China, they different. But the point is, this is backed by the government. These are banks backed by the government saying that, hey, you're insured. If something happens to your money, we'll pay you back. But this right here proves that promises could be false all the time. They could promise to pay us back at any point in time. And they could be sitting here now trying to rush the bank, and they'll bring tanks out to run you over and shut you up. All right, that's the truth. And the question really is like, is crypto going to be that place in the future that could stop these problems from happening? Because this is a reoccurring thing throughout history. All right, I know everybody runs to the Great Depression and loves to talk about that, but now we're in 2022 and we see something similar happening in China. And who's to say? I mean, the bank run just earlier this year, Ukraine. All right, how many other bank runs are there going to be before we start to say maybe the bank isn't the safe place? It's just the place that we knew because we were all born into a banking system, right? But maybe it'll be the crypto system moving forward.
Yeah, great point, man. I completely agree. You just never know. I mean, you would think that the banking system, the traditional financial systems are going to be the ones that prevailed as they have so many times. And they're it's just they prevailed, and they've scared you away from these other avenues to make your income passive, right? Like crypto. They've scared you away from these avenues because of what has taken place with Luna. And ironically, this is the same thing taking place in China right now with their government backed banking systems right now. So it's a little scary. Where do you put your money? Perry, what you think, man?
Yeah, man. I think Moon makes great points. I think, when a society's being built, right, for it to get to the point that it's gotten to, obviously, the powers somewhat being centralized makes sense, right? It's work to get us to this point. But once you get, you build up a civilization, you cannot trust all the power being in a few hands. And even before, the bank situation, if you even think about, that was the Evergrande and that situation just looming right there. So to me, that's already a level of risk. Now we're starting to see, obviously, with the bank situation. And, we always want to make fun of the people who keep money, under the bed in the shoebox. But when you get in trouble, right, and they don't have any issue accessing cash, you kind of look at it a different way. And I definitely think as time goes on, you're going to see that crypto really will become that standardized place where people keep control of their own money. And I think we've still got to go through something where the trust is built up and get it to the level where it's a little easier to use. I think that's the biggest thing right now that's hindering us. But ultimately, with this situation, if as much as people don't want to believe it, if China is in trouble, though, we're all in trouble. Just even speaking specifically to crypto, you can see, you lay down your head at night in America, you can see what's going on in China as they enter the market. And and then we do the same thing on the other end to propel it. So at the end of the day, it's going to affect us. And I think this will push us closer to crypto for sure.
No doubt, man. And Moon, you remember those days of spot, trading and leverage trading and waiting for like 1 a.m. until that market opened over there and seeing how they rally and how it's just a vicious cycle. With the crypto market that's 24 hours, we get to see it live in real time, kind of their sentiments and everything. So be on the lookout midnight to 2 a.m. when those markets open up and you wonder, okay, yeah, there's a cascading effect here. Very likely around 9 o'clock, it's going to continue, so
absolutely
something to look out for.
Yeah.
Moose, what's your sentiments, man? I know you had a lot to talk about regarding this topic.
Man, so I always have a different vantage point, man. I've got a different view on it. I think while China is an important player in the economic thing, realm of everything, man, this whole bank situation, let's be clear. Let's throw out some facts, right? So like FDIC's been out since basically the Great Depression. And that was the reason for it, to protect consumers. So it's close to a 100-year-old product. It's a mature process. China doesn't have FDIC. They have the equivalent, which is called deposit insurance regulation. Same thing, right? It's been out since, let me see my note, 2015. So we're talking about a 7-year-old program that's in place. The Chinese government is already actively working to pay back these citizens. At the end of the day, when these people invested their money and put their money into these rural banks, these banks, small banks, one-offs, they were getting high interest rates. Anytime there's a high interest rate, there's always risk, right? There's inherent risk. We learned that through multiple products, specifically with Voyager, USDC, Celsius, lending, overages. So I say all this to say, man, like, I do think this will spark the conversation for, hey, what are my alternatives to banks? But I think banks and hardware wallets, ledgers, all that type of protection, I think they'll still coexist together because at the end of the day, these centralized bodies, the governments, like I know a lot of people are like, man, I don't trust the government. To some degree, they do have an inherent purpose to try to protect their citizens because if not, you get mass chaos and insurrection. And I don't know any government across the globe outside of maybe like Afghanistan that wants insurrection, so to speak. And you have some areas in Africa that don't have stable governments, but for the most part, the big economic powers like stability in their government. And the last thing they want to do is jeopardize that by having a fluky situation like this fracture their entire people. So,
but Moose, do you know how they plan to pay back their people?
No, they've already started. So they're doing it.
Do you know how they're doing it? By raising taxes. By raising taxes. Does that sound fair? Does that make sense?
Well, it's no different, but that process is no different than at the end of the day. I mean, the United States is notorious for it. We do it. I'm not saying that's the right thing or wrong thing.
You took my money and then you're gonna raise my taxes.
No. Let's replace. You took your money with. I decided to invest my money into a product where I wanted a high return.
They put their money in the state-ran bank. It was owned by the. It was owned. This is not. They didn't put it in little small banks like you were saying. The bank that's owning is a state-regulated bank.
These banks. It's 4 banks involved. They're rural lenders in Central Henan Province, and then there's another one in. I'm probably going to butcher this up. Anhui Province. These banks were not your big body banks like a Wells Fargo or anything of that nature.
That's China, but that's what I'm saying. It's a state-run government. You understand what I'm saying? I know it's nothing like America. So, but at the end of the day, who owes them money? The government owns them money. And how are they going to fix it? By charging you more taxes. That's the only way government makes money, by taxing. They don't sell products.
There's no right, wrong, or different way. The reality is you got to pay these people back.
What by taking my money? You gonna pay me back by taking more of my money and then giving it to me? Come on, man, that don't make sense.
Hey, I hear you. It's a jacked up system, and at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself if it could happen there, it could happen here, and where's a safe place to put your money? You know, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself that. Where's a safe place to put your money? You can't just give it up carte blanche to the government and just suggest that putting it in notes and CDs is going to be your trick, and then the yield you get on that. Hell, and don't think savings bonds is the way to get it. Like I've cashed in on savings bonds that were 30 years old, that the value of it was just as good as the face value of the savings bond. Like it was absolutely nothing, right? So. You know, where do you put your money? That's the big question I have. I agree with everybody's sentiments on here, man. You have to be aware and conscious and cognizant, but where do you put your money? Voyager, good example. I still, you know, at the end of the day, you wonder. We were just talking about KuCoin and some of these exchanges and how they're the possibilities of them becoming insolvent. You know, the question is, is there a safe way? I have a safe way. Let me just throw my safe way.
Here it goes.
Stay here. My safe way is right here. Okay. The safe way is to get custody of your crypto. Is the safest way to have crypto or any other asset.
That's what I'm saying. Perry, what do you think? Where do you think money should be placed going forward in the future?
So, I mean, I tend to agree with that. At the end of the day, it's going to have to come down to the people at some point. I mean, society in general is getting more corrupt. Now, I do think Moose makes a very good point, and that's that no nation, and for the most part, is going to want their people, you know, going at it with each other and having insurrections in the street. But if you ask me, would they, whether it be that, then them lose power? I would tend to say, yeah. Because I think they're going to always put their interest first. But I think it's going to come down to the people, though, ultimately.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah. Hey,
Cap, what's the next?
All right, let's go ahead and move on. But before I do, what were you about to say, Moose? We got some
no. We may have to roll to the next topic, man. Okay. I just want to ask you: was that a treasure or a Nano Ledger.
Nano Ledger.
Oh, for those that don't see, my bad, man. I do have a Trezor. It's a Trezor, 100% digital, man. I mean, look, even if I lost this, as long as I have the keys, I am good to go. All right. So
okay. Just
throwing it out there. It's a responsible thing to do.
I'm getting one this week, man. No more procrastinating. I'm getting it.
No more.
I got a sidebar. I want to talk to you about that Trezor, man. When we finish up, man.
Okay. Here we go.
I'm sure there's a video. We'll have a video out on it anyway. But let's segue real quick. Let's move on to this ETH upgrade. Okay, we're finally here. I mean, we've got Vitalik, who has kind of committed to 10,000 transactions per second by the time the end of this roadmap is done. All right, this ETH upgrade is here. And as you guys can see in the price action, even with this little relief rally, you see more of the relief is coming to ETH right now. ETH 2.0 is literally right around the corner. And the question is, are we going to see this rally and flip Bitcoin the way that we've been hearing, or are we going to see it dump again? And we're going to see the dominance rising in Bitcoin. Perry, man, I want to hear you first on this, man. I mean, what are your sentiments on ETH, Bitcoin? What's the powerhouse? Are we, what are we looking like here? Is this a storage of value in Bitcoin, or there's more utility that's going to outshine that store of value?
Absolutely. So the way I see it, ultimately, and it could take a while, but ultimately ETH is going to outshine Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin obviously, kicked this great journey off of crypto. But when you just simply look at the utility and the ecosystem that, Ethereum gives you, ultimately, if they can get through the merge and things work out correctly, we know how the merge has been pushed back time after time. I think we're going to see that it will flip. I think the flipping will happen. I think it's definitely going to happen. And that's no slight to Bitcoin. But, Bitcoin is kind of the old school who doesn't want change. So, I think Bitcoin really is what it is. It was the beginning, but much like sports or anything, right? Over time, things continue to get better. And I think that's what ETH has done. And I think it will flip Bitcoin for sure.
What you think as far as timeline? You think it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or possibly by the next halving?
I think at least within the next 5 years, it flips it. And it might go back under possibly, because we still have to look at institutions. And for the most part, institutions, they're still going to be big on Bitcoin first as they continue to come on. But I would say certainly even within 8 years, ETH will surpass it and never look back. And I actually think there'll be some other ones that may even pass it down at the 15-year mark. We're going to probably see other ones with utility pass it unless Bitcoin decides to really change up and add utility.
It would be ridiculously crazy if you see utility leading the bull run. You know what I mean? Like, unlike before, where it's just, the supply is shortening and halving. That's what usually leads the bull run. But for utility to lead it, you talk about an open market where, hell, the bull market just may be year round, with more use cases that are pushing the price as opposed to speculation as it's always been,
Right.
Bruce, what you think, man? I
just want to add this real quick. I'm sorry. One thing though to watch out for is all the competition, right, that ETH has. So by virtue, as more competition comes up, I think that does make it harder because people who love Bitcoin, it's unified. Whereas you've got, ADA, ETH, all these other ones that continue to come on and get better. So that's just something to think about as well.
And real quick before I go to Moose and Moon, man, Raoul Pal is like the only big, institutional guy that I know has pushed ETH, has been big time behind ETH. You don't have that many ETH maximalists.
Well, you got Kathy Woods. She's big on ETH too.
That's okay. True. Kathy is, but she's also big on Bitcoin. She's extremely big on Bitcoin, but she may be, definitely favoring ETH, but you definitely have a lot more Bitcoin maximalists than ETH maximalists for sure. But I'll not to steal the thunder, man. Go ahead, Moose. What you think, man?
Well, I think just Yeah, I think just follow up on your point. I think most people, if they are Bitcoin maximalists in their back pocket, they have ETH as that second runner up just by nature without doing any research. That's the natural thing to do. I kind of agree with Perry, man. Like, I think in the next 5 years, ETH has the potential to do it. I think Vitalik said the other day, the merge puts it at like 55% complete for the whole entire upgrade. And so, short term, up until September when the next milestones met, I think it'd be safe to trade ETH if you wanted to swing trade it. Any time between now and September, I think you'll see rallies, you'll see up and down. So if you have the stomach to muster 10% swings here or there, you can make a little money. I'm not into the swing trading anymore with crypto. But does it have a chance to flip Bitcoin? Probably with the utility, like Perry said, it probably does. But if it does, I think you'll be looking at an entire new crypto world in general. I think at that point, you'd be able to walk into your McDonald's here in the United States and maybe pay with like Bitcoin and Ethereum at that point. That would be that's kind of the state of the economic system. I think that probably needs to happen if you're talking about ETH flipping Bitcoin. There's a possibility though, man.
No doubt. Moon, what's your take?
I think that Bitcoin is going to stay dominant throughout. Bitcoin doesn't have much utility except for one, and it does it very well, and it's that store of value. You can't beat branding. McDonald's is not the best place to eat at, but that M, anywhere you go in the world, you see that those golden arches. You're going to stick to it, and you're going to go there, and you're like, hey, I don't know about that restaurant, but I know what that is. All right, no matter where you go. And that's what's going to happen with Bitcoin, I believe. But saying that, I think Bitcoin is just going to be in its own league, in its own ballpark. I don't even think people are going to really too much associate it with crypto like that. More so just digital gold, something I could just keep my value there. Crypto, I think, is going to evolve into things used for gaming, used for business transactions, even real estate. I think those smart contracts will be perfect for real estate, making transactions with cars, everything. Like everything, you could just easily take it into the court system. There's no arguments. It's right there on the ledger, right? So I don't think Bitcoin will be used for that. I think people that's making money in ETH would put their money in Bitcoin, in savings, because Bitcoin will continue to be going up, and something that, as it gets more rare and more harder to find amongst people, it's gonna be even worse to find Bitcoin 20 years from now, 30 years from now. And imagine if you're the one person that hoarded all the Bitcoin in the safe and everybody else really wants Bitcoin, what's gonna happen to the value? So just because of that alone, I can't see ETH flipping. I can't see anything flipping Bitcoin. But ETH, are we talking about the number 2, the biggest alt? I think ETH could be that. When I think, like we said, there's some other competition. That's probably the next topic that could get up there. But mainly, I think ETH has the best outlook and the best chance right now to be that number 1 alt.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think ETH definitely has the chance to do the same thing. And I think the competition is where you really need to keep your eyes on, because ETH has some fierce competition out right now, and it's going to segue over to the next topic. But ETH has some fierce competition, and it goes, dozens of competitors of ETH that, in my opinion, they already work. They already work better than what ETH is trying to be. But because ETH is the catalyst here, that this is the dog wagging the tail, or whatever that analogy is, man. ETH is the dominant figure here. It's going to have much more, people involved. So, all that being said, let's segue over to our last and final topic, man. ADA. ADA has the upgrade coming in that allows coding languages to be used and converted to Haskell. Okay, this has been a big thing. Let's go back to the picture of that horse, right? When everybody saw the white paper on ADA and they saw how Cardano worked and how beautiful it looked, and then they saw the face was completely the opposite. Well, finally, the coding languages, and everybody doesn't have to know Haskell. They can use, you could use any type of language from Solidity to many other languages for coding, even C+, to get converted over to Haskell to use Cardano. Now, I don't think this is the only true rival that can flip ETH as the dominant alt in the future. But the question is, could it? Is this the only true rival with the fundamentals of, being Charles Hoskinson was a developer on ETH before he made Cardano. He went and birthed Cardano with IOHK. The question is, do we have just Cardano as one of the big rivals, or do we have many more? And Perry, man, I want to hear your take first, man. What do you think of all these rivals and ETH being flipped?
Absolutely. So for me, Cardano is number one as far as the number one rival. But I do think there's other ones that are good. I think it'll take them some time. My belief is that the biggest thing that Cardano brings to the table, Charles Hoskinson, he's been there from the beginning, obviously being a part of Ethereum himself. But one thing that I think people underestimate, I don't care what it is in life, marketing is king. He markets extremely well, but he also, who else at that level, that smart, also normally talks to the people to let them know what's going on. And he does it himself.
AMAs.
He does AMAs all the time. He's become a celebrity of sorts, right? And I think because of that, when you have this research project, right, that finally does reach the point where it's fully functioning, I mean, it's going to be scary. It's going to be real scary. But I do think there's some other ones that like Algorand, for example, also we'll say basically it's more so of a scholastically put together as well and stuff like that. But ultimately, I still think ADA is going to have a chance to really take on Ethereum at some point in time. I think it will.
Ain't that something to think about? This just macro look at this. If ETH can flip Bitcoin and then ADA flips ETH, if you were invested in that Cardano at some of these prices, man, I don't think you matter if it's a swing trade or an investment. I mean, I think definitely for the investment front, it could be, $30, $40 per ADA, in no time, in a blink of an eye,
Yeah.
So Moose, what you think, man?
Man, I think it's what everybody wants is for ADA to flip ETH because it'd just be an insane amount of money in your pocket, right, on the surface. At the end of the day, and Perry touched on some things. Hoskinson does a great job marketing. He does the AMAs. He's close to the people. But I'm gonna tell you this: the biggest thing I see with ADA hasn't been put under the stressor yet. ETH. I think I checked earlier. I checked earlier sometime this week, man. And like the live network, ETH had like 105,000 active users compared to ADA's like 25,000. So, and ADA's always been like that, man. They boast about, this fast transactions per second. All that stuff is great. It's scalable. It can move. ADA has not been put under the stress test. And until it truly gets put under the stress test, I think that's it got put under the stress test once when it did the ice cream cone thing. What was that thing? Sunday Swap. Yeah. It got stress tested on Sunday Swap, and it was not good. Initially, it was not good. But they recovered, and so my thing is,
wait, what's the definition of not good on that though?
Yeah,
there was no transactions lost like ETH. You could literally lose transactions. It goes into the void.
When I say stress test, it didn't go off with a hitch, man. We don't need to dive into details. We at the end of the show. But that was its first true stress test, and you had mixed reviews on it. It didn't blow people out the water, and that's all I'm saying. And so I think ADA has a chance, but man, there's plenty of altcoins that have a chance to flip all kind of each other, man. You just have to see, man.
We saw it with what was it? What was the Solana? We saw it with Solana. There was nothing special about Solana. It just was the chosen coin. It was the chosen coin for this rally, man. And that was, you might not have much, it may not be the fundamentally most sound one, but it may rally and go a 20x. And you're like, well, it's good to hold it, Moon, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah. the main thing about ADA being the best thing to probably flip ETH is the fact that any language can be developed on that blockchain is a game changer. No other that will put it uniquely set apart from every other crypto that's been built. All right. And the reason why that's great, because people that do use C#, C++, Java, Kotlin, all these people that use Python, all of them are just going to be able to quickly migrate over. That's what's been slowing the development down. You got to look at it from the developer side. If anybody that likes to code and all that, I don't want to have to learn Solidity. I don't want to have to learn Haskell. I don't want to have to learn all these languages to get in. I just want to be able to use what I already know. What do you think all the institutions that already use these things, Java and C#, if I know that I could go right to the ADA and I could just, boom. All I got to do is drop in my code. I don't have to rewrite code. It won't break.
Great point.
Man, that's the big reason why ETH is ahead, because they have all the developers right now. They're like, that's the main place where development is happening. But why wouldn't I just go over where I could use my language that I already use every day? And that's gonna take the crypto by storm. And I think that's something to be that's underlooked right now, but it's coming. It's like a little sleeping giant, and we still got till 2024 before this full upgrade on ETH is supposedly supposed to be complete, and we don't know if it will. Like I always said, they're flying a plane and trying to change the engine. All right, they are trying to do this right now while everybody's making transactions. They're trying to switch to proof of stake all at once. We don't know how this is going to end up going, truth be told. So if I think if ETH is able to pull it off, it'll be hard to try to flip them. But if ADA is able to pull this off, I mean, like, who knows what's going to happen. But if they both pull off what they're trying to do, both of those will be great investments.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be any single particular winning crypto. I mean, their use cases are going to be all over the place, from gaming to media to entertainment, all of that stuff.
They might find their little niche like Bitcoin did.
Exactly. And Bitcoin, man, it's so much to really think about. And we're just so early in this space that so much could take place. Just get a seat. Get a seat on the bus. We encourage you to really do your own research. We provide you with as much as we can, and we're blessed to have old Perry Unlikely up in here trying to give us some knowledge on his experience throughout this crypto journey, man. So look, we'll make sure to drop his contact and all of the Discord and everything in there for him.
Yeah, go subscribe. Go subscribe to his page, guys.
Definitely subscribe, man.
Yeah,
He's definitely giving y'all some knowledge for free. Okay, so just like the rest of us, man, we just want you to have your own way to navigate through the space, make your own decisions, and find a way to pacify or make your income passive. So we appreciate y'all every day. Whale Rocket Crypto, Moon, Moose, Perry, Captain, we out.
Peace.
Take care, man.
All right, fellas.